From failing to find someone to live up to Daniel Craig's legacy, to repeatedly rebooting the character, here's the real reason why it's over for James Bond. After 60 years, 27 movies, 1 forgotten anthology series, and 8 actors, it's about time Britain's most lethal weapon is laid to rest. Luckily for the creators, the last installment, No Time to Die, ended in a way that made things easier for them. But the real question is, will they jump on this opportunity to wrap things up nicely, or will they choose resurrection? Now, don't get me wrong, a new Bond film is sure to top the box office, and let's be honest guys, the spy genre is still in its prime. But replacing Craig? Yeah, that's like going on a wild goose chase. After all, it's been one hell of a journey for them. For 16 mind-blowing years, Daniel carried the franchise on his broad shoulders, and boy did the fans eat it up. From Casino Royale to No Time to Die, he brought a whole new level of emotional depth to the role. I guess you could even call him a game changer. Before him, the super spy was a bit too super for our taste. He was hardly relatable. But then along came Craig with his entirely new breed of spy, a Bond who was a mix of charismatic and witty, while also being dangerously lethal. That was a tough combination to achieve, but the franchise had a good enough grip to take this route. I mean, come on, this Bond era gave us some cinematic gems that just can't be replicated, so why mess with perfection, am I right? Plus, finding someone who can maintain the standard set by Craig is like finding a unicorn. And trust me, they're trying. Producer Barbara Broccoli is already scouting for her next super spy, but to maintain quality, they've got a list of strict requirements for anyone who auditions. Are you an actor hoping to star in the upcoming 007 film? You can quit dreaming if you're not in your 30s. That's around the same age Craig was when he first made his 007 debut. But why not consider a younger actor? Maybe because that comes with many problems like visualization, like you can't really have a kid out of high school play a veteran now, can you? Bond is supposed to be someone with experience, someone who's been in a war or two. So age isn't just a number here, it's a requirement. Speaking of, did you know fans were hoping that Idris Elba would take over the mantle? But as it turns out, the actor is a little iffy about the role. He straight up said that playing Bond won't satisfy any of his personal goals. Of course, it'll be a major flex, and the popularity that'll come with it, it's gonna be insane. But the character demands long-term commitment, and Elba isn't looking to settle down just yet. Look at Craig, guys, it took him a whole lot of convincing to accept the role. Folks, let me explain how it works. I know, becoming 007 for a film or two sounds like an absolute dream, but that's hardly what the filmmakers are looking for. Oh no, if you want to be Bond, you better be ready to put aside 12 years of your life minimum. That's not all. There's a certain kind of personality the casting directors are looking for. They even have a name for it, Bondness. Here's an example for you. Cubby Broccoli's wife Dana noticed that Sean Connery moved like a jungle cat, making him perfect for the role. So with standards that high, no wonder finding a replacement for Craig has been a bit of a nightmare. Oh, and here's a crazy story for you. Did you know Sam Heughan, the hunky Scot from Outlander, also auditioned for the role? Did he get it? No, because apparently he was too nice. So, if he isn't right for the role, how are they ever gonna find someone? All these rejections remind me. Did you know that some fans think they're on the lookout for a possible female Bond? For a while, there was a buzz that the next 007 would be a woman. And you don't need me telling you that it sparked quite a bit of controversy, even for the No Time to Die star Ana de Armas. And no guys, the actor isn't being sexist here. She actually made some valid points. Why is it that women should get recycled and flipped roles when they first need to work on the existing roles in the franchise, and how problematic they are? I'll get to that in a bit, but let's return to what Ana said. According to her, there's no need for a female Bond. Why? Because turning 007 into a woman will be taking over the character and basically stealing it. No one wants that. And get this, even 007 himself shares that opinion. In an interview, he said, there should simply be better parts for women and actors of color. Why should a woman play James Bond when there should be a part just as good as James Bond for a woman? Don't we all agree with him? I guess it's about time we ask ourselves if casting a female Bond will really be a smart choice and a step forward like the filmmakers want it to be, or maybe it might come across as pandering and a tiny bit patronizing. While we're still talking about women and the franchise, let's first talk about the problems faced by those already in it. Now, it's no secret women in the Bond films have a bit of an image problem. Here, I got some stats for you. Mr. Bond has shared a bed with 55 women across the franchise. And can you guess how many of them wound up dead? 17. That's almost 31% of his lovers. I guess losing so many beaux turned the super spy into someone super insensitive. Because get this, the only thing he said after Severin died in Skyfall was, "That was a waste of good scotch." Yikes. Seems like 007 has some suppressed trauma. Anyway, it really shouldn't come as a surprise that Bond women are seen as disposable objects. You know, one-hit wonders that aren't useful after one film. Wait till you hear this. Bond himself perfectly fits the male macho fantasy. Dangerous, deadly, smart, and witty. With a new partner in every film, he checks all the boxes, am I right? And the women next to him? Tight dresses, questionable names, and dicey treatment from men. That's a typical Bond gal for you. But since we're well into the 21st century now, I think it's okay to leave Pussy Galore, Octopussy, and Christmas behind. Instead, they should let more intelligent characters take their place. Can you even believe those names? But hey, that's not all of James Bond's troubles. Daniel Craig is one of those chaps who loves doing their own stunts, which is amazing and everything, but sometimes it's hard to escape any injuries on set. Did you know his wife, Rachel Weisz, asked him to cut back on the stunts? I guess that worked for a while, but later, poor guy ended up hurting his ankle. And before that, he battered his shoulder twice in Quantum of Solace. Then both his calves got ruptured in Skyfall. Oh, and he also had an ACL tear while filming Spectre. Believe it or not, Craig actually got off easy, considering that the James Bond set is known to be cursed. Famke Janssen broke her ribs while filming GoldenEye. Halle Berry needed emergency surgery when a shrapnel from an explosion went into her eye while shooting Die Another Day. Folks, it only gets worse from here. Stunt double Martin Grace broke his leg when he got smacked into a wall. Yikes. Cameraman John Jordan got a foot clipped off by a helicopter, and it later had to be amputated. Then in For Your Eyes Only, stuntman Paolo Rigoni died when his sleigh flipped over. So yeah, you never know what's gonna happen in a Bond movie. And pulling the plug on the entire project might be saving lives. Another reason Barbara Broccoli should think of rolling the credits on 007 is that there isn't a story to follow anymore. I mean, hello. Craig's Bond dies at the very end of No Time to Die. Plot twist, I know. So what are they gonna do next? Resurrect him? Yeah, that doesn't look like a good enough option to me. After all, the character has been rebooted one too many times. There are at least 8 different versions of the spy out there. And do we really want a 9th one? Not so sure about that. At this point, they've run through every single version of the character possible, so it's very unlikely that they'll come out with something new. And well, from the looks of it, the team realizes that they're stuck. They haven't even moved past the drawing board yet. There's no script, no 007, no story, so maybe they should leave it at that. Isn't it better to end it all on a high note rather than putting people through years of Bond fatigue? Who would want that? And there you have it. From repeatedly rebooting the character to failing to find someone to live up to Daniel Craig's legacy. That's all for why it's really over for James Bond.